My favorite deck that I've built in Perils in Paradise got buffed in the most recent balance patch, so I played it again, and I'm here to tell you it's absolutely insane how well we did with it. So let's talk about Taurus Paladin. This deck is living proof that there are off-meta strategies that we have not explored that are definitely good within Hearthstone. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I've got some sad news. Unfortunately, if it sounds like I'm sick, it's because I am. I've got COVID, so I'm not going to be able to keep up, as much as the content as we have been, but we're going to at least talk about this deck because yesterday, while I was actually, somewhat sick, I found out just how cracked this deck really was. Now, originally, I played this deck on the first day of the patch, went 12-3 in order to test, how good Eudora was, and honestly, I wasn't really a fan of it. I decided to drop it, but in the video coming up ahead, I at least kept those good highlights in order to give you an idea on whether or not you would want to play this card. I still think it's completely underwhelming, and we don't have enough rogue cards in the list in order to justify it, so you can just put another Judge Unworthy in order to make the deck, flesh out perfectly. But again, I went 12-3 with this version with Eudora, and then I decided to play it again, and we absolutely took off with it. I am now 22-9, peaking at rank 345 legend, going 22-9, and I'm going to be talking about this deck today because I believe it is actually a legitimate meta breaker because I actually encountered mirrors while playing this deck. That's right, I finally played it enough to where I have influenced a bunch of other people, and other people are trying out this archetype now. I literally couldn't be happier, except if I didn't have COVID right now. But if we take a look at HS Guru, it takes a while for us to actually find a version of this Paladin deck because there are a lot of decks that people are experimenting with. And keep in mind, this is just the front page of HS Guru. You can literally go to hsguru.com and all of these decks are readily available. You can copy almost any of them. But yeah, if you scroll down, it takes a minute to find that, Lynessa Paladin is an archetype that some people are experimenting with, and this is another list that I encountered on my climb, because we went up against two mirror matches that were playing two different lists than what I was playing. So people are experimenting with this, and they're trying to find the perfect version, and I'm going to tell you guys why I believe my deck might be the best, but there might be some changes that you can make depending on, what exactly you are encountering on the ladder. But if we go down a little bit further, we find another person that's actually playing this, and they're playing my list. They're playing my version of the deck. So I decided to do a little bit of researching and some digging up, and I found that there's not a lot of data really on this deck yet, but there are people that are experimenting with a Lynessa OTK Paladin, and there's another version of this deck that I have not seen, but is very popular apparently in Legend. So Gaia Paladin looks very similar to what we were doing earlier, but this deck is all in on trying to go with, it's Earthens. Oh, okay, it's Earthen Paladin. Never mind. So that's where that's coming from. But yeah, top 10k Legend. Not a lot of people playing this deck, but I will say that I still believe I have the best version of this deck, just in terms of data and in terms of how much I really understand what makes this deck work. And before we even take a look at the list itself, I want to talk about the Mulligan so that way people understand what this deck is trying to accomplish before we even look at the actual cards themselves. Because I feel like a lot of people are getting super hung up over certain cards in this deck, like the Knick-Knack Shack, for example. I understand a lot of people are not really a fan of this card, but there is a reason why this is in the list. So let's go ahead and talk about the cards that you want to keep on the Mulligan. So obviously you want to keep your Hi-Ho Silverwing because the whole point of the deck is that you want to draw out the Divine Bruise and the Holy Glow Sticks without actually drawing them. This deck is almost like a deck thinning Paladin, where you are just trying to play the cards that help you maximize your draw and maximize your tempo every single turn. So one example of this is actually the Pipsi, where one of the main win conditions of this deck is to play the Sea Shield to discount it, and then you play the Pipsi in order to bring out a bunch of cards from your deck. And one way of enabling this is by playing some of these other coin cards like Greedy Partner and Metal Detector. So these are cards that are very important to keep in your Mulligan, and then other cards that are very important to keep are cards like Mixologist as well as Living Horizon. Living Horizon is literally a card that you can play on turn 3 if you don't do anything and you don't play any cards in the first couple of turns. And then you just have a 3-mana 4/6 with Taunt and Divine Shield. That is a very effective play that I don't really see a lot of people doing because its kept rate is not very high, but its Mulligan win rate is very high. So these are the cards that you're going to want to keep more times than not. So now that we've actually talked about the Mulligan, let's talk about the deck itself. So as I said earlier, Pipsi is one of your main win conditions in order to bring out a gigantic board of like Zilliax, Living Horizon, as well as like the Titan. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Titan could also be declared a win condition of this deck by just playing a bunch of minions, and then using the empowered ability in order to buff up your cards. And another win condition of this deck, as we just go down the list, is using your con men to potentially duplicate either your Pipsi, or if you've played the Titan from your hand, you can get an extra copy of the Titan. And if you play 2 con mens in the same turn and get 2 Titans, that's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot of things this deck can generate, but it's all about the flexibility, because obviously you're not going to use your con man with your Titan every single game. There are times that you're going to have to use it for like a Pipsi, maybe, and actually my favorite play of all is to do turn 3 Living Horizon into turn 4 con man, so that way you get yet another Living Horizon. So you can play for tempo as well as like controlling your opponent with your minions. And then the ultimate win condition of the deck is to use the SUNSAPPER Lynessa. And there are a couple of different ways that I could explain this combo. So generally speaking, the whole point of the deck is to play the Lynessa followed by the O Manager in order to get extra copies of coins, so you can play those coins, and then that way you have a bunch of mana that you're sitting on. And if you play 2 O Managers for 4 mana, you are getting 8 mana back in order for you to play Divine Brew. And the way the Divine Brew works with Lynessa is that you play it on your hero. It gives you Divine Shield, and then it also gives you 1 attack since it just gave you Divine Shield. And since you cast the 3 drink spell twice, it gives you 2 copies of the 2 drink spell, so it essentially compounds the Divine Brews to where you can play a bunch of these all in one turn. And if you have a lot of coins and a lot of just mana sitting in your hand because of the Greedy Partners and because of the Metal Detector, then there's a lot of damage that this deck can generate just out of nowhere. And just in case the damage is not enough with your hero alone, you also have the Horn of the Wind Lord in order to give you Wind Fury on your hero, so you can deal that damage twice. So this deck has a lot of insane potential. OTK, especially with cards like Grifta, as well as the Mixologist to give you even more 1-mana cards to work with the Lynessa. This deck is like a perfect amalgamation of everything just working perfectly, to where even if you don't have like one win condition, you can default to another one until eventually you have your primary win condition of stalling the game and then winning with a gigantic Lynessa combo. Now, some of the cards that a lot of people are not really sure about are cards like Knick-Knack Shack, and the reason why I am deciding to keep this in the list as of right now is because, like I said earlier, this is like a deck-thinning Paladin, and Knick-Knack Shack, after you've played like your Pipsi and you've played like your Hi-Ho Silverwing, most of your deck is cards like your Judge Unworthies, maybe like a Mixologist if you haven't drawn it, you know, some cards that are not necessarily low mana, but by the time that you play this card, you can easily play some of these cards and then draw another and cycle through your deck. Now, there are some times that I have played this on turn 3, and it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but the best way of how to utilize this card is if you aren't going to do a big combo with this next turn, you just play it and then draw immediately, do your next turn, and then when it reopens, you can maybe do another big combo. So it's just a consistent way of being able to draw cards in a deck to where, you know, if you don't hit your big tempo turns, if you don't hit your scam potential, then you're still at least doing something. But I could totally understand if someone wants to cut this card, especially now that I'm not playing the Eudora, so like I don't necessarily need the rogue cards, but I don't know, man. I'm just such a fan of this card in this deck that I really don't want to cut it, because it really makes this deck feel like an actual OTK deck that uses its tempo and its control tools in order to stall until eventually it has everything it needs. But just in case you guys didn't get the win conditions, the main win conditions of the deck are going to be playing Seashill into Pipsi in order to bring out a gigantic board, or potentially you can play Seashill into the Amatis as early as turn 4, turn 5, and then you can get another copy of that with your Con Men, and it's really useful to bring back the Titan, because then you can use its Draw 2 ability, set minions to 2 mana as well, and then you can maybe high roll a Lynessa. There's a lot of potential with this deck and so many synergies that I'm not even done talking about all the win conditions yet. Obviously, there's the Lynessa combo, there's the Horn of the Windlord combo, but one other win condition that is very funny in my opinion is when you have a buffed board with Amatis, and then if you use that buff on the Sandcastle, the way the Sandcastle works is that when you buff its stats, like the 3 attack or the 8 HP, the attack converts into the buff that the location gives, and the durability converts to the HP. So it's a very interesting synergy that like there's just so much that this deck has to offer. And if you enjoy these games coming up ahead, there's a whole nother video that I already talked about, you know, discussing this deck with even more gameplay. And I just cannot tell you how fun this deck is, how interesting it is, and how rewarding it is to play a deck like this. Because one other thing that I actually forgot to mention is, what exactly are we favored into? I'm sorry, my head is all over the place right now because I am literally sick. But yeah, boom, look at these stats, dude. 100% versus Warlock, only fought one Warrior, but 100% versus Warrior, Rogue, Priest, Hunter. I didn't think the Hunter matchup would be that good, but we didn't really fight it all too much. Pretty decent against DK. The worst matchups that we have for sure are going to be aggro Demon Hunter, most aggro spell mages that just go face with like the manufacturing errors, and then Shaman also proved to be a little bit difficult, but that's only because it's really hard to deal with a bunch of boards over and over and over again. And one thing that I kind of want to float that I'm not really sure is the way to go is to play Wild Pyromancer potentially with like Equality. But the main reason why I've decided not to do this is because it dis-synergizes with the Hi-Ho Silverwing and actually just giving us our OTK and enabling our combo more times than not. So you just got to survive. You got to have a game plan in mind that you're shooting for, because this deck has several game plans you can initiate. It's just a matter of finding out the best one for the game that you're in right now. And don't forget, if you do enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like the video, subscribe, check out Patreon, yada, yada, yada. I honestly shouldn't even be recording right now. I should be going to bed and resting. So that's exactly what I'm going to do as I drink my water and stay hydrated. So thank you guys so much for supporting us during these sick times, and enjoy the most sick deck in all of Hearthstone. That's right, I literally recorded this video just for that pun. So thank you so much for making it to the end of this deck breakdown, and we'll see you for the next video. Tempo buffs really didn't do much. At least not right now. Excavate Thief is fun to play. Yeah, but imagine only playing Excavate for however many months it's been out. It's now the 3rd expansion. Or there's been 2 expansions since Excavate came out, so it's been around for 3 expansions now. It's just drawn out. People are just so sick of the same deck, I would argue. At least I am. I'm just sick of the same deck. I play Thief Rogue even in WoW because there is no better option. I mean, there are definitely better options. You're talking about the Null deck or whatever. There definitely are other decks you can play. The Tavern Brawl definitely proved that. I mean, dude, Miracle Rogue was like the one deck that everyone was farming. All right, so we're gonna do this just to get the coin. I could play the Grifta, but I don't think I should. Okay, guys, I'm skipping the baby metal. I'm sorry. I need a different vibe. I need a different vibe right now. You guys always got to remember this. I actually need to say this just so some people are aware. I actually have gotten feedback that we listen to too much metal on this channel. And I'm not saying that they're right, but it is, I find that super annoying, in all honesty. Too much metal? Are you kidding me? Now I have to be self-conscious about what kind of music I'm listening to? Like, for fuck's sake, man. People get, like, this is one of the things where it's like, you can listen to feedback as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you should make the content that you want. But I can't believe that that's actually a reason why some people click off the stream. Yeah, time to bust out the AI. I don't know, man. I don't think there's such thing as too much metal. That's just a hot take for me, though. I can understand not liking the guttural screams and stuff like that. But too much metal? Excuse me? Would you say to James Brown, you're too funky? No, you wouldn't. Would you say... I guess to rock artists, you would say, hey, man, you rock too hard. And they'd be like, nah, man, I didn't rock hard enough.
Evil will be purged. The desert sun strengthens my rays.
All right, I'm going to wait on this for one more turn. I regularly come here to find new music for my playlist. See, and that's what most people say. So I should just listen to them. But it's just like, I really wish I didn't read that piece of feedback. You know what I mean? Because I wish I didn't think about it. But now I'm Shrek, I'm looking down. It's unfortunate. It was something I didn't think about, and now I think about it. Wait, this isn't lethal, is it? It's 12. I don't have a holy card. It is almost lethal, though, dude. Okay, lol. You already mind-controlled me, so... Don't you dare, dirty rat. I don't care about the music, I just watch your stream muted. I can't stand your voice. Based. But then again, you'd never hear me say that. So if you respond to that, then you have to admit that you weren't muted the whole time.
It's against me.
Really? Really, dude? Yogg, fuck him up. I know this song. It's the Breaking Bad song. I have to spend mana. Play this, get the Silverwing back, OTK him. 4, 4, 8, 12, 24. Why not just play normal hand buff Paladin? You did not just ask me that. You did not just ask me that.
After all I've done,
Are you kidding me?
be lost.
Can't believe I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. Okay, nice, lol. If I top deck the holy card, is that still enough? Oh my fucking god, secrets. Looks so wrong to do this, but I just need one holy card.
Reporting for duty.
Does Fel count towards Razzle? Yes, it does. All spell schools count towards it, even if it's not originally in your deck. There's some buff Paladin that runs Conniving Sword Shiner for extra painters. Seems completely unnecessary. I hate Reno decks so fucking much, dude. Top deck the other glow stick.
The sun shines for me.
Oh, he's dead! I still had more bruise.
You are past redemption.
I love how I don't even know how much damage this deck does. It's just enough. It's just enough, dude. What just happened? What just happened is the reason we're not playing hand buff Paladin. I'll just leave it at that. A poor guy queued with Hunter and got ruffle stomped and emoted by Clark. He queued of Druid. It was Reno Druid. He deserved the emote, brother. Oh, the Funk Master? Wait a minute. There's only one Funk Master, and he's in my band. His name is Funk Master Hutch. What did I cut for the original list for Grifta? Grifta was always in the deck. If anything, the card that we cut was Eudora. We actually put in Eudora, and we cut a judgment on a Judge Unworthy. We used to have 2 of them.
Reporting for duty.
Shasha. They didn't nerf Painter's Virtue? Nope, they did not. At this point, I don't feel like it's ever happening, guys. They want hand buff Paladin to be good. Sorry, but it's the truth.
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
Okay, hold on a minute. This is the Eudora game. This is the Eudora game for sure. We've got Metal Detector into O Manager. Why though? That makes no sense. It's an easy deck for people to get into. It's a simple deck. It plays minions. The minions do something. A lot of people engage with that. Whether, like, it doesn't matter what you hear on Twitter. It doesn't matter what you hear on Twitter. It doesn't matter what you hear on Reddit. It doesn't matter what your favorite YouTuber tells you. The data that Blizzard gets, people like playing hand buff Paladin. I don't know who these people are, but they exist apparently, and they outnumber us. You always gotta remember, the people that do not bitch on Twitter, the people that don't give feedback on Twitter, outnumber you. So the next time that you see Twitter is outraged about something, think about what that actually means. Bots, that's who they are. I would argue that the people complaining on Twitter are more bot-like than anybody else. All right, well, this just seems like a really good sandcastle move. Tempo! Hand buff and autopilot by a bot can easily win. Well, that's not the reason. A bot wouldn't play hand buff Paladin. You wanna know why? It's expensive. The bot decks are the good decks that are the cheapest. Like Spell Mage, for example. You would teach a bot how to play something like Spell Mage. But hand buff Paladin, that's a very expensive deck.
I need to find a new king.
I'm playing that mage with Yogg and Orb because it's gambling and I'm having fun, but you want to try Miracle Rogue, or is there any fun beginner-friendly deck? Yeah. You don't want to play Miracle Rogue if you want a fun beginner deck. If there, any other fun beginner deck usually is like... Oh my god, what are you doing? Oh, never mind. This isn't lethal, is it?
A limited time offer.
Just do this and hit him in the face.
My god, how did he do it?
Could do this into this. Hit him in the face. We can do this into this. Try to get some damage. But a fun beginner deck. Most DK decks, I would argue. Most DK decks are very budget friendly or like friendly in some aspect or another. Easy to play, simple concepts. You don't have to do like Miracle Rogue, Overheal Priest level of counting. You just gotta play your card and it survives. Don't play the location. Don't use the location, we win the game. If he doesn't use the location, we win the game. Stream died, can you tell it again? DK decks, most DK decks. Also, GG.
You are past redemption.
I'm sad I didn't get the Eudora value, but still. And Sandy Warlock is hard to learn, but it's relatively cheap. DK looks complex for me, but I tried if you guys say it. What is complex about DK to you? What DK deck are you looking at? Because the deck that you should be playing, if you want a simple deck, is actually one of the best decks right now. It is Unholy Frost, Buttons DK. The whole point of that deck is you just tempo. You just play minions. The minions stick. You have some cards that go face. You go face with it. Blood DK, a bit difficult. But other than that, DK decks are just maximum tempo, as much stats as you can. And sometimes play rush minions to take your opponent off the board. The whole class, actually the corpse thing is okay, but the runes are what? So the runes are what confuse you? I would say never worry about runes, always just worry about the deck. Silly X. Oh man. I think only a Popgar is essential for Insanity. What other legendary is in there? I know there are others. Oh, it's Symphony of Sins. You definitely want that. You definitely want the Symphony. People count for Overheal Priest. I just go when the vibes are right, or when Clergy and the Parent that gives another 1 mana card. Most people don't count with Overheal Priest, but top Legend players do count with Overheal Priest. Was it actually just better to go for another dragon? It might have been, actually. Just get the combo since we have all the coins ready with Lynessa. We can even get like a potential for the knick-knack shat combo. Rat the Paladin turn 2 is a really brave move, by the way. Well, it depends if it's hand buff Paladin. If it's hand buff Paladin, then you probably steal cards that, oh my gosh, this is so good. Good tempo. We have plenty of coins. We don't need to kill a 1/1. The majority of his anti-warlock is common, sir. It's not dead. Wait a minute.
Blinding.
I gotta go. How much damage is this? I think it's enough, though. This seems like a wonderful opportunity to remind you guys, if you're gonna play the rat, you better have an answer. You better have an answer. You better have something. Why would you play rat without an answer, bro? He did it twice. But why don't I play hand buff Paladin? Oh, man. Asking the real questions. Why buff your hand when you can buff your face? That is the best answer that I've heard so far. Why buff your hand when you can buff your face? I don't think I'm supposed to keep knick-knack against a hunter. I'm an old player and come back after 6 years. Do you have any advice which deck I should craft to reach legend? Hand buff Paladin is not working every game. Honestly, mate, hand buff Paladin will get you there. It's a time match. You probably aren't playing the deck perfectly. Hand buff Paladin is an easy deck to play, but it's a hard deck to master. And there's lots of versions of hand buff Paladin as well. You may not be playing the best one. But like, case in point, dude, what I'm about to show you isn't necessarily like the best decks. It's more so the easiest decks to play. This data is not always indicative of what the best deck is, but usually when a deck is number 1, there's a very obvious reason why. And hand buff Paladin is a reason why these stats are so high. And when you say that you're not winning a lot with hand buff Paladin, what does that mean? Does that mean you're not winning, like if you're going 6 and 4, do you think that that's bad? 6 and 4 is great. He didn't draw the weapon. I'm gonna do this because I don't want him to yodel her. Do I think Maestro will be playable now after the buffs? I really don't know about Maestro, in all honesty. I think that Maestro, it looks okay, but generally speaking, I don't think it's that good. Like at 5 mana, it's playable. But overall, mate, I don't think it's gonna be like a good deck, if that's what you're asking. We haven't had a single Pipsi game yet, dude. We've not had Pipsi in our Mulligan. I have a feeling this might be the Pipsi game. Although if I get King Plush, the game's just over. I walked in the end of the last game. How was I able to play like Infinite Divine Brews? Lynessa got cheated out of my hand. So keep in mind that this is when Lynessa was already on the field. But I had a bunch of coins. I had Divine Brews and a glow stick. So Divine Brew, when you play it twice and you have 3 drinks left, you will cast the 3 drinks left version of it, right? Meaning that when you cast this card twice, it gives you 2 copies of the spell that says 2 drinks left. So you're essentially compounding the drinks. You know, you get 2 for 1. You know, it's with two for 1 discount if you have a lady with you at the club. You know what I mean? 2 for 1 discount. But that's what's going on. You're casting each drink twice. And originally you give yourself Divine Shield, and then every other, you know, proc, it's 1 attack. So that's what's going on there.
A limited time offer.
All right, next turn we'll go in for the draws. When Lynessa's on the board, every night is lady night at the bar. And with feet like that, it's easy to see why. I always change up my deck a little each month. Was such a smooth climb. Yeah, this is a very expensive deck. Yes, I will not deny that part. This is a very expensive deck. Oh, really? I don't really have rogue cards. I'll just play this one instead. I haven't really had a lot of minions that die, but another Silver Wing is still absolutely fine. Get 1 more of the brews left in my deck. If he plays a big minion, we can deal with it. Any good? Egg Hunter been popping up? Egg Hunter looks like it definitely got a lot of love. People are playing it, but I don't know what the best version of the deck is, so I might have to wait a little bit before I report on it. I'm playing 1 with Sir Finley. Wait, Sir Finley? Finley is not in Standard, right?
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
Oh, come on, dude.
One person's treasure is my treasure.
Just aren't enough rogue cards for this, man. No point in even hero powering, in all honesty. Glowstick works. Lynessa with Seashell, it's WoW. Yeah, if you were to play, well, hold on. If you play Lynessa into Seashell into Glowstick, then yeah, that would work. If you somehow discount a spell to below 1 mana, then it works with Lynessa. Oh my god, the Sasquatch. Wait a minute. How insane is this really? The extra secrets are actually omega annoying. That's really bad. Milling a card is a death sentence if I mill the Lynessa. Fingers crossed we don't mill the Lynessa.
My hand is full. Real fake gold. The desert sun strengthens my rays.
Damn it. Giving him another minion might be a bad idea, but I need to get cards out of hand. Next turn we have Ziliax. I can kind of get in the way. Lynessa's not even lethal because I don't have enough coins. This is fine. Might be Freezing Trap. Probably doesn't matter, but... Why spend the 1 mana coin? It's 2 mana with Lynessa. No, it doesn't matter, bro. If the coin does its ability, it was just to make room and hit my hand. We're probably still gonna just die anyway here. I hate to admit. If Lynessa's not the next draw, hell, even if it is the next draw, I don't think I'm killing him from 30. This is kind of a cock block, though.
One dose solves any problem.
If he doesn't attack into it, then it definitely is freezing trap.
Shaking a stutter.
Evil will be purged. Evil will be purged.
Okay, Lynessa off the top is still extremely good. We have 2 draws for it. Come on, Lynessa. Come on, Lynessa. Come on, Lynessa. Come on, Lynessa. Gonna have to trade it.
You fold.
Insignificant.
I must act now.
A limited time offer.
Wait a minute. Coin Conman actually could have been the play. One more card and I get the treasure. Am I getting hounded? Wait, what the fuck? Where'd this come from? That's actually in your deck? Wait, what? Why the hell is that in there?
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
100% real fake gold.
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
Well, what do you know? Eudora actually came in clutch, dude.
100% real fake gold.
So now I either top deck the Lynessa, or I top deck the Titan and I buff the board. This game is over, dude. I mean, I guess there's King Plush, but they already played the natural King Plush. Yeah, it was GG, bro. Oh my god, what a... That did not look like it was winnable for a second. That did not look like it was winnable. So, like, how much bullshit do you have to go through in order to get to the good part of One Piece? I guess that's my big question. Alright, come on, shield me again, bro. It feels old now. I mean, dude, it's been going on for eternity. Of course it feels old. The humor is weird. Okay, so maybe it just takes you a moment to get used to the humor. Oh man, no 2-drop. I'm just gonna play it for tempo. What we need is an anime longer than Bleach, One Piece, and Dragon Ball combined. A single anime, that could be with you your entire life. I actually think that's a really bad idea, personally. Because it means that if you're not around since the very beginning, catching up with it would take forever. Because there's literally always more content being made. I don't think that, I mean, it sounds cool in theory. But if you actually, like, break it down and analyze it from a business perspective, it's Probably not gonna be that good. Is an old anime like that? Check in Google. Why don't you just tell us what the name is? He's playing Cutlass Rogue. I'm like wasting this. The beginning isn't bad, it's still enjoyable, just not special, and then it gets special like 30 episodes in. Here's the thing, the Moist Critical example that I was bringing up, it wasn't like a first 30 episodes sort of thing. It was like the first 3 arcs sort of thing. Like at the beginning when the character building was happening, he was fine with it, but there was like a point in One Piece where he described it as, you already know what's gonna be happening because the anime wouldn't continue if, you know, suddenly Luffy died or something like that. Like, I'm paraphrasing the paraphrasing, so maybe this isn't 100% accurate. But essentially what he was complaining about was that at some point, the stakes didn't feel like stakes. You got plenty of time. What is the best aggro deck besides Pirate Shaman or Pirate Demon Hunter? Aggro? Handbuff Paladin doesn't count as aggro, does it? Frost Unholy Death Knight is pretty good. Pain Warlock is pretty good too, yeah. Handbuff is tempo OTK-ish. It's an aggressive tempo deck to a degree. It doesn't feel like it, but then it just does its thing. It's the most aggressive mid-range tempo OTK control deck that's ever existed. I think about what makes One Piece good is more so the character building and world building. That's fair. It's just kind of all anime of that genre light. I mean, again, it's one thing when like imagine a main character dies in like the first 5 episodes. I'm not saying that this is what would make a good anime, but if you establish very early on that, hey, no character is safe, so if they're in if they're in a position where it's like for example, you know that Monkey D. Luffy's not gonna die. Very basic example. But it seems like, you know, like a lot with like the main characters, you don't really have a lot of deaths nowadays. Now granted, you know, One Piece is old, but I'm just using this for the sake of my example. Like, it's really hard to have stakes when you know that the characters are gonna get through them at the end of it. You know, like, you just know that already. You gotta put stakes, you gotta make it to where it's like, you gotta have some real shockers, you know what I mean? Beautiful. It's so beautiful when this combo works, dude. Also, lol order. Lol order. Dionysus, I'm sorry. He is my love in Hades, but I am smacking him in this Hearthstone game. Okay, Sandcastle Draw was actually kind of bad. Attack on Titan killed Eren in episode 5, even though they made it seem like Mikasa would replace him as the main character. That grabbed in a lot of folks. So yeah, and then you find out Eren actually isn't dead. I know most of the spoilers of Attack on Titan, but I've never like actually watched it. But yeah, that's like a great way of subverting expectations, because you think that he dies in episode 5, and then he comes back later in the anime. Talk about a fucking like a curveball, man. I never would have expected that. Are you kidding me? That's subverting expectation 101, baby. The killing joke. You might need a link for that, mate. I don't know what that is. Killing joke, the death and resurrection joke. .610 weapon.
Be reborn in my image.
Limited time offer.
Insignificant.
Might have lethal next turn.
Now this is treasure.
Looking for a standoff? Careful, it's against me.
What? 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 Wait, it's lethal.
The sun shines for me.
Interesting. Rogue, huh? If this isn't enough, I'm gonna cry. Ah, it's definitely enough. At the end of the day, it's still a Reno deck. Reno weapon rogue? Dude, what is this cook? Subverting expectations, am I right, ladies and gentlemen? I have great Hearthstone content. Thank you, man. Thank you, mate. Doing everything I can. Remember, guys, we're trying to go for a goal of hitting 100K before the end of next August. So we're giving ourselves essentially a full year at the end of this month to see if we can hit 100K. With the goal of not necessarily hitting 100K, but the goal of just making full-time content and making full-time income doing it. I'm glad your hair is long shows character. Not necessarily, mate. Just because someone has long hair does not mean that they have character. If someone has long hair, it can mean one of two things. It means that they are lazy because they never want to cut their hair. It might mean that they're lazy. You never know. Or it means that someone is well kept and knows how to take care of himself. Accept my compliment. Lazy is smart. All right, I'll go with it. Hearthstone is gone in 3 years. No, it's not, mate. No, it's not. Please don't be a Debbie Downer in my stream. This is how I make my income. I'd rather you not be like, hey, your business is gonna die in 3 years. Would you go into a cake store that you know is not gonna thrive in 5 years and still be like, hey, your business is gonna be alive but why would you come into this cake store and say these things, man? That's just disrespectful. That's just rude. I can't believe you, mate. I'm bald. My hair is also long. Who are you, Asmin Gold? Being bald and long haired at the same time? Long hair, options, lazy, don't want to pay to get it cut, looks good. That's my other thing. I don't want to pay to get it cut. It looks fine. And actually, okay, so chat, I'll tell you the story and then I'll tell you something I'm planning on doing. So what you guys just reminded me of, is the other thing that I was gonna say is that I'm thinking about potentially doing another stream with the Indigals, and we do another hair dye stream. I'm not sure if I'm doing that yet, because honestly, man, I don't want to bring my bandmates to this apartment. I don't want people to be in here any longer than they need to.
100% real. Let's go.
Okay, the 4-6 is just a lot of good tempo. Can you guys see my dyslexia? How embarrassing. You didn't say Lizdexia, so you're fine. I'm so bald I could use my back hair for a comb over. Ew. Ew. That imagery. That imagery alone, ew. That's a very meh reaction. We'll say this in case we get a top deck. Wait, he's taking the 9?
And now the premiere act. Me.
Okay, sure. This means that he has something else in hand.
A limited time offer.
No way. Deal 6 in any form. God damn it. Crescendo would actually kill me. He doesn't have Crescendo. Four, 12, 12, 16, 16. We're 1 damage off, dude.
What a deal! What a deal!
1 damage off. Wait, no, it's not 1 damage.
Will be
It's more like 1 mana off.
now. Will be
Almost 1 mana off. No way this board survives. He needs Popgar. And even then, he's not killing me. The road card of Panda, what's the proper name? Pandaren, I think, is what it technically is. I think it's a Pandaren. You're out of options, mate. What are we doing? You just gave me lethal. Okay, yeah. Now that I drew this off the top, that's lethal. Wow, really lucky draw there, dude.
will be purged.
Woo! This deck eats Warlock, dude. It legitimately eats Warlock. Oh my god. So we've gone up against 4 Warlocks out of 15 games. Well, now 5 Warlocks. 3 of them in a row.
And now, the premiere.
Like 1 coin weapon for exactly this situation. To play it in the mid game in order to keep ourselves alive while also giving ourselves coins. More than 1 of these weapons, then suddenly using Horn as a win condition becomes very clunky.
The overture is upon us.
Will be purged.
The desert song that strengthens my rays.
There's an argument maybe to coin and attack and then use this to kill the 3/4, but that would just save the tempo. We don't need to save the tempo. Imagine how insane it would be if playing Horn next turn was actually the play. And just start going face. Think he doesn't have the Popgar? Is this deck playable now? It might be. By the way, GG's Platino. Good to see you, man. Oh, dude. Fuck it, we ball. Go face.
Will be purged.
He needs to have exactly Popgar into Crescendos, dude. That's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. And even then, it's 4. He goes to 10. He's not killing me. I have 2 damage plus technically 10 from this. 2 mana, bring that back, get another coin. We technically have 7 mana. Could maybe even play the Grifta. Whenever I play this deck, I feel like I greed the spell damage cards. You usually should greed the spell damage cards. You're talking about my deck or his deck? Because with the spell damage cards, you have to use them in a very specific way. You don't want to use them and then suddenly you're out of options. You only play them when absolutely necessary. Ron not streaming today. Oh, is that why my viewership is so high? Nah, I haven't checked. I haven't noticed. Oh, what? Wait a minute. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because I have the GOAT manager. He's still just dead, dude. It's so funny how hard Insanity Warlock crumbles to this deck. It's like actually not even a joke. Top deck it. Fuck it, bro. I had more than enough. I had so much damage. I don't even care, dude. Top 1,000. Jesus, dude. It just works so well against Warlock. 80%, by the way. 12-3, bro. I don't want the greedy partner in the mirror, in all honesty. Even against handbuff Paladin. Clark's picks, yeah. I mean, hey man, you play the deck that you go 70% with. Currently 21-9 with this deck right now. Trying to see where we'll be after 30 games. Egg Band coming to Wild? Wait, what? They got an OTK instead? Is it Freebird? Please tell me it's Freebird. Oh my god, I hope it's Freebird.
One more coat of paint.
Oh my god, they're playing the other list. No, you're playing the wrong one. How dude, coming into this battle, playing the wrong list. Are you trying to make me upset? Yeah, no, I'll watch the intro on stream. That's what I'm waiting for.
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
There's the Pipsi.
The desert sun strengthens my rays.
Top deck? Oh, manager.
They've gone slightly overboard
Will
on
be
the size.
purged. Evil will be purged.
Reporting for duty.
What? Oh my god, he doesn't want me to kill the Pipsi. It's actually really funny. I think I have to waste the glow stick.
To scale.
There's an argument to play the con man because I didn't pull the Titan. It's actually kind of a big deal.
Reporting for duty.
Damn, I think I should have played the con man, but at the same time, if I play con man, I'm only pulling out like the Silverwing and the Amethyst, but that's still really good.
They've gone slightly overboard on the size.
Now, is this lethal? Now it's definitely lethal.
The sun shines for me.
You dare knock on my door with an inferior list. Turn 7, by the way. People are actually playing this deck now. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it, dude.